Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to introduce the lovely assistant.
Hey everybody.
So the first thing you need to do is save your files to a thumb drive and bring them out and put them in your machine computer. I just put mine on the desktop. And once you have that done, you can go ahead and start your machine, or you can ask your lovely assistant to start the machine. Very good, and make sure you have your liquid flowing, which it is. And then once the machine is going, you can ask your lovely assistant to start your Mach 4 program. Now on startup, because I'm using the smooth stepper, it's going to look for the smooth stepper. And as long as it finds it, we'll go ahead and launch. If it doesn't find the smooth stepper, it's because you didn't start your machine first. Now the first thing you'll always want to do for every project when you start your machine is enable the machine and then reference all axes. The machine will move one axis at a time to our stops and then back away. And then we're prompted, references is complete. Now previously we had mentioned we're going to use a G56 offset for this. And as the assistant can show you right now, we're in G54. So to create a G56 offset, or any offset for that matter, you'll go to this jogging and keyboard inputs, and then use the arrow keys to jog your machine to the location you want to use as your G56 offset. Now it's only going to save the X and the Y, so the Z value really doesn't matter. And once you have it at the location you want to use, you go back over here to offsets, select the G you want. I'm not going to use 56 because I already saved that location, so I'm going to save a G58 location, and you simply set center. You can see your X and your Y went to 0, and that will be saved even if you turn off the machine, turn off the computer. When you come back later, this will be your G58 offset. Now since we are going to use the G56 for this, I'm going to go ahead and click my G56 and then go back to the program run. And now if my lovely assistant can press the go to work 0, we end up at the G56 location. Now this is the 14 by 32 inch board that I cut, and we're going to use this for the work surface here for the fixture. So I want to try these cuts. First of all, I want to put 4 holes in this to pin it down to the table. But I don't want to do the first cut on this surface. Instead, we're just going to cut air the first time. So as you can see right now, this bit is only about 1/4 of an inch from the material. And these holes are 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'm going to lift up that Z-axis a little bit. And then I'm going to ask my lovely assistant to zero out that Z-axis. So now we have 0, 0, 0, zeros. So this is the start of the program right here. So now what we need to do is load in a program. To do that, you can go to File Ops and load G-code. Use your tree over here to find the G-code you want. In this case, we want the fixture board. You'll get a representation of the toolpath here. Now, you don't want to just have this thing diving down really fast. It will move to the location at your machine speed, but once it gets to the locations of the holes, I'm going to slow this way down right here using this feed rate. I'm going to change this down to, and it's easier with the mouse here, these buttons are kind of small, about 7%. So now we can ask a lovely assistant to cycle start. And now this is moving at machine speed. And now it's moving at just 7% of machine speed. And it is in the right location, and everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead and move that machine speed back up to 100%.
This one?
100%. Now this is real time. And here's where you can see that I removed those in every one of my programs, that homing move, to where the Z just comes to the top and stops. Otherwise, if I would have left those other two commands in there, the machine would have came back over here to the machine 0 position and stopped over here, which I think is very unnecessary. I can easily change the tool right here where it is and go right back to the G56 position for the next cut. Or if no tool change is needed, I can go directly to the G56 cut. Okay, so now if we're going to ask my lovely assistant to go back to the go to work 0 position again. Now that we've established that everything looks good and we're not going to crash, I'm going to go ahead and run my Z down until it's just touching the top. You can use a piece of paper underneath it or whatever. It's not really important right now because these are not critical cuts. If it goes a little bit into my bed, I don't care, because we're going to be cutting holes in the bed as well to anchor these in for this fixture plate. So now we can ask my lovely assistants to 0 that axis, the Z axis, Z. So now you can see we're at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Everything is good. Lovely assistant has a phone call, so she'll be back later.
I'll be right back. Very fast. Excuse us.
So we're ready to go ahead and make this cut right now. I'm going to go ahead and lift up the Z a little bit here and turn on my spindle. Okay, we run the spindle. And that's way too fast. I'm going to slow that down. We're down about 7,000 or 8,000, will be fine. Now we can ask the lovely assistant once again to hit the cycle start.
Cycle start.
And now we're live. Okay, we can shut off that spindle and go to the work 0 offset, go to work 0. So I'll be right back and go ahead and take this fixture out of the way so I can cut the actual holes in the table for the inserts, so we can screw this back in the same position every time. Okay, now that I've removed that fixture board, we're going to use that same G56 offset. Now all we need to do is change the Z0. So go ahead and lower that Z down. until it's almost contacting or just touching the bed. And now we can zero the Z again. And we'll come here and we will close that G code and we will load a new G code. And this one will be the fixture board inserts. Now once again, don't just assume that this is all good. You can just hit go and fly through this thing. You could end up crashing and messing things up. So I'm going to go ahead and lift that Z back up. And then we'll do a Z0, 0Z right there. And lovely assistant has another phone call because she is so popular.
Sorry.
And we'll go ahead and do another air cut here. I'm going to lower these values down here. Back down very low here so we don't crash in anything real quickly, and go ahead and hit the cycle start here. Okay, so this one's running a little different order. I didn't preserve the order as the other one. Just want to make sure that it all looks good. And this should be spiraling in, which it is. It's spiraling down. It's in the right spot. We're going to go ahead and bring this back to 100% now. See what it looks like in real time. And I'm happy with that. We'll go ahead and go to work 0 position. And now we will go ahead and touch off the Z. Now I do have this touch off here, as I'd mentioned in one of my other videos, where I can do an automatic tool 0 for the Z. But for some reason I'm having trouble getting it to work correctly. So instead I'm going to manually jog this down just till it touches. Close enough, because these holes don't actually be a full 3/4, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my Z0 here, and I'm going to pick the bit back up a little bit. I'm going to start my spindle, and we can run it at 100%. Now that we have the fixture board screwed down good and tight, we can go ahead and put that fretboard fixture on here. Go to work 0. Re-zero your Z. Now we can go ahead and secure the fretboard on here, and we'll put the opposite of these on the back of the fretboard so we can pin it into position here. Now from my G56 home position, put a V-bit on there, and I'm just going to cut a groove right down the center. So we'll lower that bit till it touches, and then we'll just use the Y-axis. Actually the X-axis. Now I've marked center lines on the ends of the boards here, and I've burnished a piece of tape down on this center line as well. Now I just apply some super glue to this tape and then line the center marks up on both ends of my fret blank. So now with my fretboard blank loaded in the machine, go ahead and run this cut. Now I want to put some 1/4-inch dowels in here. You can go ahead and cut those off about 1/8 of an inch. Now I'll tape it down again, same as before, but this time I have the dowel pins in the bed, and I'll just line these holes up. Okay, so I've loaded up the fretboard binding here, and I've also zeroed out the bit. I've changed my bit to an 1/8-inch bit and zeroed it out at our G56 location, so we can go ahead and do this binding cut. And I'm going to spin this one quite a bit faster. Take that one up about 17,000. And I'm going to slow this feed rate down again. Make sure it doesn't get out of control on me too quickly. And we'll start that. That. Let's go ahead and speed her up a little bit, take up about 50%. And it's about 60% right there. And I think I'll just let it run right there. Actually 70%. Have some air here too that I can use. Okay guys, so it's the next day, and I've attached this binding around the edge here, and I've reattached the fretboard to the fixture. I've installed my 1/2-inch ball nose bit, and I've already done an air cut to make sure everything looks good. I have the bit set at 0 for the G56 position here. So we'll go ahead and try to do this radius cut now. I'm going to start this run at about 50% here. See what that feels like. And now I've set up for that nut slot cut. And now I've installed the fret cutter and zeroed it out. And as you can see, it's pretty delicate. Okay guys, it's been about 40 minutes later, and as I thought might happen, it cut everything just fine till here. Went through this one at depth, within right here. It snapped that bit about in half, and I came out, I was about right here, so I just went ahead and sped the machine up to about 50% and let it at least take the second cut. So now I have these reference lines in here, and I will just get out my fret saw and make these slots deeper. But at any rate, it will do for this prototype. That's what prototyping is all about, is figuring out what needs to be changed and how you need to do it to make your finished product. Hey guys, I'm Lee.
I'm Rose.
I want to thank you guys so much for watching our videos. We'll catch you on the next one.
God bless.